Comrades, hey, this is Carl from Ushanka. Got a real quick video for you on precious metals. It's been a while since my last update. Remember, this is not advice, it's just my research, my thoughts. Of course, do your own homework. But the idea here behind, the motivation behind my videos is the idea to invest rather than to stack. Stacking preserves wealth. That's a smart thing to do, but investing precious metals based on the ratio, the gold to silver ratio, is a way to actually increase wealth, and so that's what I'm trying to sell here, at least until somebody tells me I'm doing something wrong. Okay, so the ratio strategy update for me in my stash. I brought my Silver Eagles up to 100. I still have the 3 ounces of gold, and I'm over $700 in accumulated cash at this point. My plan is the same. I'm going to trade the silver for gold when the ratio hits 48 to 1, and I will continue to accumulate cash, and whenever I have enough I will buy more gold. So here's a picture of my current stash. So you see I've got 100 Eagles, 4 of the tubes are sealed, and then I've got my Buffalo gold coin, my Krugerrand, and my Eagle. I think I mentioned in a previous video I'm going to stick to 1 ounce gold coins. I don't want to get into the fractional stuff. There's a lot of upside, or a lot of premium charged on those. And then you can see my Obama cuss jar. I've got $700 in singles there that I've accumulated since, well, I guess since probably January or February when I bought the last of my silver. And always, there's the commercial. Remember, I sell the Commie Obama hat, the beautiful furry Commie Obama hat at CommieObama.com. So if you feel like mocking our current president, feel free to buy a hat. That helps me support my blog expenses. Let me tell you the update here. Here's the 10-year chart that I've used in previous videos, but it's been updated with the last 7 months from 2014. And so you can see there at the end, at the far right, we're going down on ratio. That we had a nice period there where we were up in the high 60s. You know, 60 ounces, 65 ounces, 68 ounces of silver equals 1 ounce of gold in price, and now we're headed back down. Now the 10-year chart is wonderful in the sense that it shows you that if you do adopt a ratio strategy, you will have trades over a period of 10 years, but it's not that many. And of course, go back to my previous videos where I set several different trade targets and then walk through how those trades would have happened over the last 10 years. But the idea here is we kind of spiked a little bit and then came down. So here's a graph of just the last 7 months of 2014. And it doesn't show as much of a turn, but you can see where we've been, and it looks like where we're heading. So you'll hear from the silver people on YouTube, even on Kitco. They're saying, you know, if you're going to go into precious metals, go into silver right now because it's going to have more of a pop than gold. Well, that is true based on this ratio chart and the assumption that it will continue to trend downward. If that's true, that means silver will become more expensive to gold over time. It's just a trend. It happens back and forth. I wanted to spark some conversations. Hopefully you guys can chime in, help me out. This might lead to more videos or maybe a hangout or something like that. Like I said, the stacker mentality is the motivation I've had behind, you know, researching the ratio trade strategy. And I think the idea is, you know, I see these people doing the right thing with stacking. They are going into precious metals to preserve wealth. That is a smart thing to do. It's been proven over time. Assuming you are incrementally buying, you're not buying at the peak and then crashing. But I think that's only halfway, and my previous videos go into detail about what would happen if you were to buy a certain metal based on its preference at that moment, according to the ratio, and then trade it for the other metal when the ratio goes the other way. So again, hit those other videos and then hit me with any questions. As far as manipulation, this is a word that's out there a lot, and I want to kill it. I want to take it out because you know, I see it on Zero Hedge a lot. I see it on you know, YouTube videos. My God, they're manipulating the price of gold as if George Soros is over there, on the other side of the planet with his keyboard. He clicks, enter, and does some kind of trade behavior that then influences the value of my wealth. All right, it's not sinister what's happening today, but I need to know more information. Basically, the only manipulation I have learned that happens in the market is when a very large trade happens during the off hours. If you have a trade that is equal to or larger than the amount of gold or silver traded in a full day, and it happens off hours, it will really throw the price of that metal up or down depending on whether it was a buy or sell. So that has happened. It happens roughly once a month or two, once every 2 months. And it's a shock to the system, but that's just because the system doesn't have a whole lot of stock in it. And so small trades or a day's worth of trades all at once can really throw the market. So it's not manipulation, it's not sinister. But I got to tell you, with the price of gold going down and staying down over the past year, with some of the things that have been going on in the world, it suggests to me that somebody with a large stock of gold is selling. That I believe in the supply and demand, and that the price will reflect the actual demand. And if the price is low and it just stays low, somebody out there is selling gold more than others are buying. And that really worries me because the United States, in theory, has the largest stock of gold on the planet. I think it's 8,000 tons. I could be completely wrong on that. But the idea is, are we selling? And then, this is one of the few times where I'm right on board with Ron Paul is, why aren't we doing an audit? Why don't we have independent audits of our gold stock? There's no reason not to. They're not going to walk out of the vault knowing the combination, all right? So, I would definitely keep pushing for audits of our gold stock. It is our nation's wealth, and therefore our wealth, and we deserve to know. ETFs. People blame the ETFs for the price of gold going up or down. And I am telling you right now that is disconnected. I understand what happens with these ETFs and what they have to do. An ETF must match the price of gold, or a silver ETF must match the price of silver exactly, or it will lose all trust and will lose all its shareholders. So those ETFs are basing their price of their share price based on the behavior of the price of gold or the price of silver. So they are following the physical market. Yes, they buy physical, or some of them do. Some of them want to have a 5% or a 10% holding of the actual metal. But that purchase happens after the fact. It's not based on how many shares they sold on Tuesday. It's basically at the end of the quarter, how much more do they have to add to their stock or delete from their stock to be on par with that physical holding. And so that is way after the fact, and it has only their purchase or their sale of metal will influence the price of gold or silver on the physical market, but it is not manipulation, and it is not a huge factor in the price of gold or the price of silver. So those are the conclusions I've come up with the research I've done. Tell me where I'm wrong on that, but that's where I feel. Anyway, you can see I get a bug up my butt when I hear people say manipulation, as if there's some kind of crime going on, and there isn't. It's just supply and demand, and that's the price. Last, there's every once in a while Kitco or somebody will interview a gold expert. It happens to be a white male that's overweight with gray hair all the time. I don't understand that. It seems like he's trying to be relevant in the last days of his life. But he'll tell you, it's going to go to 5,000 or it'll go to 10,000. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is just garbage talk. These people need to be laughed off the planet. Some say it'll be because of the gold standard. Well, I've been doing some research on the gold standard, and I have a lot more to share later on this. But the idea is you need a peg price for the gold standard that is equal or just slightly over the actual price of gold. So once we had our peg price after the Bretton Woods conference at $35 an ounce. That wasn't, you know, obnoxious at the time. The idea is you want to have a price slightly higher, or at least this is what I've learned so far, is you want a price slightly higher than the actual price of gold, just because that means nobody's going to come in and actually do a trade. China's not going to say, okay, we want our $10 trillion of U.S. debt converted into gold and just empty out our vaults. So you want a higher price, but slightly higher, because if you set it too high, you've implemented, you've triggered inflation. All right, and the idea is that if you go to a gold standard, you don't want to trigger deflation or inflation, because there's outstanding loans out there, and somebody benefits if one of those two things happens. So this is what I've learned: is the gold standard is not going to change the price of gold. In fact, for you gold investors, and I have my 3 ounces right here, if we went to a gold standard, we're screwed, because the price of gold will never fluctuate again. We won't get gains off of our investment. And so it's something to just keep in mind. A gold standard is bad for somebody that's holding gold as an investment. They want that price to go up. When the gold standard is in play, when it's done correctly, the price of gold is stagnant from that point on. Other theories I've heard out there is the price of gold is going to spike once the fraud of the ETFs is discovered and they're shut down. Well, they're not going to be shut down. They're doing a great job at exactly what they said they would do. They would match the price of gold to the shareholder and let him gain or lose based on what's going on in the physical market. So the ETFs are not the bad guys, and they're not going to go away. So I got future videos. If somebody wants to get a conversation going on any of those topics, I'd love to do it. Love to talk back and forth. I need to learn more. If there's any major metal news, I might put a video together. And of course, when I do a trade, when we hit that 48 to 1, I'll definitely have a video out for that to show off my new gold coins. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember, CommieObama.com is where you can get a nice hat. Winter is coming. See ya.